I'm theciaellis and welcome to Grandma's Homestead. Alright, today we're going to do another Laura Ingalls Wilder recipe, and I'm excited about this one too. I know we're not getting nearly as much as a bunch of you guys are in the rest of the country, but we've had a cold front, pretty serious one come through, and we actually even had some sleet and a little bit of snow this morning. But everybody to our north and to the east, they're getting pounded. I think even to the west a little bit too. So this is a good time for some soup. This is the cookbook that I was telling you about, and the recipe is called Farmhouse Stew. And it calls for, let's take this over here so we can do this. I've already diced up 5 medium potatoes and cut into cubes. I've got a quart of milk. I think that's a quart. And then we've got onion. I'm going to chop that up. And then we've got celery. It says 4 ribs of celery. Then I'm going to mince that up. And then we've got about 1.5 pounds of lean ground beef, and this is like 93 and 7. Was wanting 1 teaspoon of salt, and it calls for half a teaspoon of white pepper. I couldn't get white pepper. We're going to do black pepper. And we've got 3 teaspoons of poultry seasoning, and then we're also going to have some flour that we're going to mix with some water for some thickening later on. Alright, I've got my oven heating at 400. We're going to make some meatballs out of this. So first thing it asks for is a teaspoon of salt. And we're going to spice this up, and then we're going to make our meatballs. I will not be doing this on camera. I will make it up, and then I'll put them in the oven. And then we'll start the soup after that. With half a teaspoon of pepper. And yes, I finally got pepper in the house. And 3 teaspoons of poultry seasoning, which is a tablespoon if you don't know that, but probably easier to do it this way. No, it won't fit. So we'll just do a tablespoon. Alright, it tells you to make about 24 little round balls, and that's what I'm going to do with these, or something about 24. And then I'm going to bake them in the oven for a few minutes. But let me do this off camera. I will make these little meatballs, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, they're ugly, but they're done. And I've managed to make 24. Imagine that. Now we're going to put these in the oven, and I think it said 10 to 12 minutes. And while it's doing that, we'll throw the rest of the soup together and get it going. Alright, what it says to do now is take your vegetables, put our potatoes in there, our onions, our celery, and a quart of milk, and bring this to a boil. And this is while the meatballs are in the oven. Alright, we're coming up to a boil here. It says to turn it down to low. And now we're going to add our meatballs. We'll stir this together, and we're going to let this simmer for a while. We're going to let everything kind of come together. We need to let the potatoes finish cooking. The onions need to cook down. We'll let the meatballs soften up with the rest of this. And then we'll see how it looks after it's done. Alright, this has been simmering a while. It says to simmer for an hour. I've been checking it. It has been quite a few minutes. I don't know that it's been an hour. And now it tells you to combine some flour. I think it was 3 tablespoons of flour and half a cup of water. And I don't know about this because I can't get the lumps out. But I'm following the recipe as it's called for. We're going to put this in here. This is to thicken it. We'll stir this in and let it cook for about 5 more minutes, it says. It's already looking pretty thick, so I don't know. Maybe we didn't need the flour at all, but we'll find out. I bet it smells wonderful. So let's give it another 5 minutes, and then we'll serve it up. Alright, let's dip this up. Yeah, that thickened really beautifully. Here's our potatoes and a meatballer here. Let's get another meatball or two. That looks pretty nice, doesn't it? But don't put it on the floor. Look at, okay, I've got a meatball here. I'm going to cut it in half so I can just see what, we've got our potatoes, we've got the celery, and let's give this a taste. That's a knife. This is going to be good. All right, this is a nice, comfortable, comforting dish that you can eat when it's cold outside. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you this time. Winter's here, whether we like it or not. This is a good dish, straight from Laura Ingalls Wilder's cookbook. I was so excited to get it. I was excited to see her homestead and everything that had anything to do with it. And any of you who have known anything about Laura Ingalls Wilder, there are those of us fans who just kind of keep it with us for our whole lives. So that's pretty cool. That's all I got for you. I do want to remind you, I would appreciate if you would like and subscribe. Help me get over 1,000 subscribers. Guys, I'm getting closer every day, and I would really appreciate it. Leave me some comments. Whatever I can do to get some people to notice me on this channel, it would be really nice. All right, guys. God bless. I'll see you next time.